This video will probably be more on the shorter side of things, just due to the fact that I feel like the woodshop teacher from Ned's Declassified is rubbing a sander up and down the back of my throat, and just because of the fact that there really hasn't been that much ever since the last video I made talking about this beloved team. If we go in chronological order since the last time I made a video, ironically enough, when I was making my last video, Josh Gordon was released on waivers, as you see on screen here, and we all thought, Bills have a pretty late waiver pickup order thingy, and maybe they'll take a shot. They'll just put in for him, but there's no way he's going to fall that far, right? There are plenty of other teams that need a receiver like we do, but, we do really need a receiver, so, of course we're going to put a claim in for him, right? I'm right? Now, about a day and a half later, we then find out quickly that Josh Gordon did get picked up by none other than the already Super Bowl contenders with an MVP frontrunner quarterback, Seattle Seahawks. Then I see this bullshit. You're telling me the fucking Seattle Shithawks had a later priority pickup thing than we did, and he managed to get to that team, and we didn't even put a shit in claiming for this motherfucker? Just like I've been saying in my last couple videos, Cole Beasley is nothing more than a wide receiver 3 no matter what offense he's in, and John Brown is on the fence between wide receiver 2 and 1. So bottom line is we need a third receiver and a third threat when it comes to receivers. That's just a fact. The only thing that's keeping me from really wanting to let loose on this front office is that there were also 27 other teams that didn't, or 26 other teams that did not put in for him. So that makes me think something was going on, something fishy. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, just take a shot with him. Just bring him in. If he fucks up, you get rid of him. If he sucks, you get rid of him. I mean, just take a shot at it, man. That's what we got to do because we don't have anybody else. This front office is making it very clear that they want nothing to do with any kind of transactions when it comes to any player that doesn't come from the Carolina Panthers. So I guess that's all right for now until we actually do need something. But whatever, for now, I guess I can't be that angry. On a quick side note, yesterday news came out that Des Bryant is looking for a comeback. And this is just another guy, he probably wouldn't want to come here because we're a small market team and he wants to just go put himself in the wide receiver 1 spot on some good team, which is very unrealistic. But nevertheless, I still think if we could try to bring him in, it wouldn't kill somebody. But I mean, like I said, we're not going to try because that's just not what we do. But I mean, he's just another guy we can attempt to bring in. If he makes an impact, cool, then that's great. If he doesn't, then you cut him. I mean, it's not the end of the world. The only other thing I really wanted to talk about was this past weekend's game against the shitbag Skins, and we won pretty handedly. It wasn't a great game by any means, but we still won. We got the job done. I guess that's all we're good at doing at this point. But the one thing I was really glad that I was able to see was Devin Singletary actually getting used. On the day, Singletary had 20 attempts for 95 yards on the ground and 3 receptions for 45 yards through the air, accumulating for a very, very nice and sparkly 140 yards from scrimmage. Granted, it was against the Redskins, and they're obviously the second worst, if not the worst team in the league. So obviously, whoever was going to be used was probably going to do pretty well. But I was just more glad to see Devin Singletary in 20 attempts next to his name. That was just very, very nice to see. Now, obviously, as we've seen as of late, Josh Allen hasn't been able to particularly, quote-unquote, carry this offense. But maybe if Devin Singletary is able to bring a new, explosive, different dynamic that I think we could use on offense, then maybe we won't really need that other receiver I keep talking about. We'll be able to rely on the run game more, just like the 49ers do. The biggest reason I say the 49ers is because people like to put Josh Allen and Jimmy G next to each other on a comparison chart and compare their stats and show how their stats are pretty damn similar, yet Jimmy G gets all the credit and Josh Allen doesn't. Jimmy G gets all the credit because he only has to make about 15 throwing attempts a game, and then the running game just dominates the rest of it for him. So he makes his 1 or 2 key throws that he has to, and that's it. Whereas Josh Allen has to throw a lot more often than Jimmy G does, and as we've seen, Josh Allen doesn't make the greatest decisions. So we see the difference. The stats may be the same, but it's just 2 completely different offenses. One offense has a very great run game that carries them, whereas our offense has nothing that carries us. Now, if we're going to play the comparing game, I'll go ahead and grab controller number 2 real quick and say that since they traded for a wide receiver they needed because they had a mediocre wide receiving core, and that's a piece they needed to really make their offense explode, how come the Bills can't go and get a receiver that they need because they have a mediocre receiving core? I don't know. We can compare all we want, but God forbid the Bills make a move because we just like to sit there and twiddle our thumbs and do absolutely nothing. I get the deadline's over, but there have been obviously other opportunities, as we've spoken about, to get a receiver. But like I said, we'll twiddle our thumbs because that's our favorite thing to do here. Now, the last thing I wanted to touch on before I finish this shorter video was Brian Daboll's play calling. Now, if you watched the game this weekend, you probably thought it wasn't all that bad, but in reality, when you're facing a shitback team, the percentage of plays that are going to work is probably more up to like 90%, and the percentage of plays that aren't going to work is probably down to like 10%. So like most plays you're going to call are probably going to work, and you're going to be winning a majority of the game. So it's like the play calling is not going to matter that much because, you're doing well, so you don't have to make hard play calls. But boy, oh boy, did Brian Daboll prove to me why he's an absolutely brain-dead, awful offensive coordinator this weekend. Did he put the nice icing on the cake, the whipped cream, the Oreo pieces, the cherry, everything. He just finished it and topped my opinion off perfectly for me. Now, this is a meme I found on Twitter shortly after the game ended. And let me tell you, I have never laughed at anything harder than I laughed at this meme. It's like, it was so funny to me when I saw it at the time. I was sitting on my couch laughing to the point where I was crying. Now, if you happen to miss what this meme is referring to, or you didn't catch the game, or you just have no idea what this meme is referring to, I'll quickly sum it up for you. The Bills had a 1st and goal on the 1-yard line, and it was 1st and goal, right? So you're bound to score, like, am I right? So Brian Abel calls a halfback dive with Frank Gore on 1st and goal. That gets stuffed. Brian Abel calls a halfback dive with Frank Gore on 2nd and goal. That gets stuffed. 3rd and goal. Brian Abel calls a halfback dive with Frank Gore. That gets stuffed again. It's like, Brian Abel, dude, the play is obviously not working. Stop running it. You're such an idiot. I hate this guy. Like, he's so comedically bad. It's like I'm literally getting laughter out of his play calling. That's how bad it is. Every single week, his play calling just gets worse and worse, and he couldn't even get through this easy-ass week without making some stupid-ass mistake. Like, this was such a series of poor decision-making on his part. It just blows my mind how he couldn't even get through this week without being an idiot. I think that's about it for what I have for this video. It was a little bit on the shorter side, but that's okay with me. My throat is about to give out, but nevertheless, the Bills face the Browns this weekend. I think this is another very big game for us, another prove-it game. If we can't beat the Browns, then we have some serious explaining to do as to why we are 6-3. But anyway, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Blah.